Good morning. This is Robert Pauls. How's everybody doing? I want to thank you all for coming. Set this up here a little bit. Okay, this is the second in the series for Big Burma, and it's using the Google Notebook, which is an AI, by the way. Uh, does this record belong? So you have a record, and you have a set of records, and you want to take and decide whether that belongs in there, and your set. I'm neither a professional nor an expert genealogist, just an amateur genealogist, just like you. Been doing this since 1992. In DNA and AI, I'm really a beginner. So take that with a grain of salt as you read this. I don't delete my errors. I use these B logs to show you how I recover. I expect you to be the proofreader. Any comments and make suggestions for other ways of accomplishing what I'm doing. I see this as a collaborative effort, and I do want to thank the people who have provided comments in the past that have improved my research workflow quite a bit. Thank you. I do these videos also for people that have responded I go too fast in my presentations, so they can stop the video and rewind it. I will be using this particular video in a presentation in the first of the year. Or that's my current plan. All views expressed are mine. I'm a member of 5 genealogy societies currently and reducing that number. But I don't represent any of them. I'm not on any of their boards or any of that. Used to be, but I don't do it anymore. I'm trying to get my own genealogy straightened out. I do help administer 2 named Facebook sites. If you're interested in those surnames, please join us. We could use the help. If it's as good as help as I get here, I could really use it. Okay, this is the comment that Big Burma made on one of my videos. And so I'm going through it step by step for her. Maybe it'll help her. Maybe it'll help you. So today, for demonstration purposes, I'm doing Susanna Fair, which happens to be the next one in my series on Irish relatives. I have a family question. As you know, I ask my family at Thanksgiving each year if they have any family questions they want me to research. And this came up. They want to know a little bit about our Irish ancestors. It's a very small percentage of my DNA, but it's someplace I have not researched. And so it's all new for me, and a new learning experience gets that gray matter going again. And so we go charging off and try and do this. Okay. And for this is actually analysis. The last time I was entering data, this time it's analysis. So just so you know the difference. Okay. This is what I've collected on Family Search Data. Yeah. This is what I've collected on Susan Fair. You'll notice it's in chronological order. That's because I do the file names so that they will arrange in chronological order. If you want to take and see it in Windows 11 in date modification order, the last thing I entered was this is the family group sheet, and then also the research log. So the research log has all this in it below this line, and then the family group sheet is from RootsMagic. Let's show you how to do that. Okay. This is the setup in RootsMagic. I chose family group sheet. I printed it out. I'm using my composite database, which, as you recall, has got a lot of junk in it. So this has got a lot of stuff in it, but it does have the family members, and they're in the correct order in it. And that's what I want for the family group sheet. Okay. All righty. And it gives all the sources. Many of them are duplicated because of the way that this was put together. If you're downloading stuff from the internet, this is how you get it. And it'll be here's a good example. Here's the 1850 census. Here's ancestry, 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 ancestry. So there are 5 ways in which that has been sourced on the internet. And I don't bother to change any of that in the composite database. The research database is where I do my real work, and that's where my reputation lies. Okay, that's that. We're back here. Let's see what else are we doing. Okay, we have all this data. Okay, we take this data and just cut and paste it all the way down to here, and we take it and copy it, and we come over to here. And if you haven't seen, I'm going to open all the notebooks here that are in the Google Notebook that I have. Here's Susan, here's Martha, here's Ann Kennedy, and here's Amanda Chaplin. These are all in order of their appearance in my tree. Okay, and then you come over to sources, you put it here, and you upload those files into here. Okay. I think you can probably paste them into here too. I didn't try it. I did have to add one website in this particular case because it's a 500-page book on Kansas. And it turns out when I did this research, I found an article about this person and her husband, mostly about her husband, but she's in it. So you're just lucky to get females sometimes noted. she was out on a farm in Kansas in the middle of the Civil War, and her husband was being waylaid by both the Yankees and the Northerners on his way home from getting supplies for him. So it's an interesting reading article. I had not seen it before. I found it when I was doing this, preparing this for this. So this is what's in here. You're allowed 50 files in Google Notebook. So if you, one of the things you can take and do is take the census documents and put them all into a single PDF, and that counts as one file. And apparently, there's a limit on the size, which I ran into. Okay, now let's talk about what we're going to do here. We want to take and do, well, the wrong one. There we go. Let's go. This is Susan's file. Let's go up to where I store my AI prompts. Where are my prompts? Right here. Okay, reference numbers, reason for adding a source. Okay. So I keep track of my prompts up here, and this is the prompt we'll be using today. Let's go through this. The role, you're acting as a senior professional genealogist and historian. Your objective is to apply the Genealogy Proof Standard to a specific target event to determine if that should be attached to the profile. So you got an existing profile for someone. Generally, it's birth, marriage, and death that you've got sources for. And you're trying to evaluate whether an individual record belongs to that individual. So you have multiple records. In my case, it's not unusual for me to have 50 records, 50 sources for a person now. At one point in time, it used to be 3, but since full text search has come out, everything has changed. You evaluate the probability on a scale of 0 to 10 of the target event belonging to the targeted individual by coordinating the research logs, the family group sheets, and historical transit data. Okay, data inputs expected in the notebook. The targeted event. Okay, you got to list the event right here, and that's the file name of the file that you put into the notebook. In my case, I put them all in the notebook, including the targeted event, and so I list that, and then the targeted events logs for the target and the spouse. So you have the research logs. Actually, in this case, I only have the research log in there for the targeted individual, which is Sarah, as I was telling you. And the family group sheet, I showed you how I generated the family group sheet. Check if it's an original or primary source. Analyze the chronological effects. Evaluate fan memberships. If a birth or conception event, check the biological possibility. Conception is very important. The two individuals have to be in the same location for that to occur. So A lot of people don't check conception, and I find that interesting. A copy of all sources that may belong to the target individual, and transcribe these as needed. Okay, if a lot of the sources are not transcribed that I have input in there, and so it needs to transcribe them as needed. Output 1, evidence and analysis. Output 2, the probability score, that's the 0 to 10. Output 3, a genealogy proof rationale, so it'll write the rationale for me. And output 4, a timeline feasibility analysis, so it shows you where it belongs in the timeline. And output 5 is a transit travel time methodology and feasibility. So if you've got something that's occurring between two events, can a person get there in a reasonable period of time at this time? Remember, the travel times change over time. And then output 6 is a fan club check, and it gives the individuals and lists all the dates and locations used. And output 7 is a limited character family search reason statement. So that's your reasoning statement for for putting this document into family search. They ask for that. Need to take and clean up a couple of the ones I've done in the past. And if multiple individuals are identified with a target name, list the birth, marriage, death dates, and spouses for each, and the dates and location for each lived in, so the individual records can be separated in the future. Okay, that's an effort to take, and in this case, that's very true. Susan Fair or Susan Ball, both of those names have multiple people in these areas of research, the locations and timeframes. They can be separated by spouses and children and location, but just barely. And so anyway, that's the prompt. And so let's get back to where do I want to go here. Okay, the first one I did was, let's open this up, and it's going to be the 1850 census. See it right here? Okay. And this is the output from that prompt. I'm doing this in a fast way so that you can take and see it. Okay, the evidence analysis, here's the targeted. Here's the source classification. I'm going to let you read most of this. It reads the head. Now, I have not been searching for J.J. Bell. So one of the things I'm going to have to do, one of the updates I'm going to have to do is start searching for J.J. Bell in the full text search. He did actually show up in one of these records as J.J. Bell. And at one point, it's I Bell. In the Kansas history, it goes in as I Bell. Now, someplace along the line, there was a transcription error. And I found it because I searched for her, and his name showed up as I Bell. Okay, so there's different bells that are in here. And then it says, here's the genealogical analysis. She's 21 in 1850. And I'm going to do this for every record that's in there. So I will have this. This will be copied and attached to the record. Okay, I haven't done that yet, but I will be doing that. So here's the probability score. I got a 10 out of 10. And it was a complete direct alignment with everything. And the location was right and everything. And then this is the genealogy proof standard rationale. So it goes through the various steps that it's gone through. And I'll let you read that and get out of the way, get the cursor out of the way. Okay, the written conclusion. The evidence concisely proves that this record belongs to Susan Fair and her husband, Jason Jackson Bell. Okay, here's the timeline analysis. So you can take and see how this record fits in with the other records. So we're talking right in this area. Here's the targeted events. It did mark it. Okay. And she's age 21. Okay. So we have documentation for that and other documentation in the file. Okay. Travel methodology. This took place in Blacklick Township. And the destination is Palmyra Township, Douglas County Territory. 1850 was in Indiana County, Pennsylvania. You'll be for years. I had this as Indiana, until I finally really looked at it really close. One of my mistakes, and between 1850, all the children were born in Pennsylvania. Their move to Kansas was late 1858, which is after this. This is the 1850 census. So it gives you a little bit about that. Fan club, it gives you the major members of the fan club. I think I'm going to try and expand that section on this prompt to take and get neighbors and stuff like that. It's got friends, associates, and neighbors. It knows what it's looking for. I want a little bit longer list, especially from a census. Okay, target event, location, Blacklick Township, Indiana, so on. Reason statement attaching the 1850 back, list husband, children, and so on. So that's a good reason statement, taking it into family search. And disabling the Faribault target. This target was born here, 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 and here. There is a Sarah Bell that's rejected, that's in the set of a description. She was birthed 1830 to 1835, and she had a death in 1902, May of 1902, and that made it really close. So this newspaper article that's in there shows that, and I'll show that particular article in a minute. So that is one of the outputs. Okay, I ran this 3 times, so let's go back over here. The next one I took and put in this, and I purposely chose one I rejected, and the target is the rejection one that had been rejected, and this is the Susan Bell that's been rejected. Okay, so that's all I changed is the targeted event. It went down through it: targeted document, source clarification, targeted individual, and so on. The targeted individual, Susan Farrell, died in 1902 in Berwyn City, Douglas County, Kansas, proven by primary family records, obits and gravestone records. Targeted event is May in 1902. So this is after that record is 4 months after the targeted record. So its conclusion, this record, an impossible post-mortem chronological time event. So it gave a 0 out of 10. I'm trying to find examples give you sometime that's a 6 out of 10. That's, I take 6s, but I don't take 5s. And so I was just trying to take and show you what rejecting a record would look like. And so it goes through everything. This is basically the same set of information that it's gone through. And, this is a Susan Bell. It actually is a Mrs. instead of a Miss. I'm sorry, this is a Miss instead of Mrs. Anyway, it's rejected. And so it would, if I did put this in family search, I don't generally put rejected records in family search. But to be a good researcher, you should have rejected records in your research so that people understand why you rejected it, that follow you. Okay, and this will give you the information to try and separate that individual out. Okay. Okay, now let's go to one more. I did one more, which was undetermined. And in my pre-record analysis, I had determined it to be undetermined. This settled it for me. Here it's undetermined, and it's this record right here. Okay, you got this Trestle Hall notice in the paper. Not a whole lot of information about it. And I didn't catch some of this stuff, I'll be frank with you. So here's the target event, and here's the source. It's a newspaper clipping. And so I was comparing it to, and here it did the transcription of the information. And life stage and biological pop. The targeted Susan Farron was born, and so on and so on. She's 71 years old and a widow. Okay. Uh, the newspaper notice describes a college literary society, Cooper College, and welcoming incoming college students. So a 71-year-old is not likely to be a college student. I didn't catch that. I'll tell you. AI caught that. Uh, and it's a new student, Susan Bell. Okay, I didn't catch all this. I was just reading pretty much at a high level. Uh, and so this record belongs to a contemporary younger student. And it goes from undetermined now to rejected. And it goes through all the research and everything else. The rest of this doesn't make, it's just interesting stuff. So it's got here's the list of people that are in this article that for your fan research club. So anyway, so that's the three options that I chose to take and show you. I will what will I do with this information? Well, going back to this, I will take each one of these and copy it and put it into that record. So it'll go into the note for that record. So let's just go here. Now let's go back down to the record on the research log. 068 88888888888. There she is. So this is the research log for her at this point. So the 1850 census, I will go into the details. I have the details here. I will add a note here. Well, let's go ahead and do it while you're sitting here. I will go back to here. Here's what the 1850 was. Let me make sure. 1850, yep. I'll come down here and I'm just going to take all of this. Just like this. It's got all this information in here. Copy. And I've even got the way of putting it into Ancestry. Okay, let's go back to this. I have that note open. I just build it up here. Okay, and paste. So I have all of that in my research notes. And output one, evidence and analysis. So I have all of that listed in there, and it'll be part of my research log. That's quite a bit of information, and quite a bit of analysis of information. All righty. There we go. It was fighting me. I want to express my appreciation. The first one is my granddaughter, who got me into doing YouTube. She said I could do it, and then provided tutoring to make me get into this. The second would be Thomas McKenty. He did a lot of his videos are on timelines and do-overs and stuff of that nature that I use in my videos. He's probably the individual that's influenced me the most. It may be because we have like career paths. He has just recently written a book on the best AI prompts for genealogy research. I checked it out of the library and liked it so much I bought it. It has a structure in there for doing prompts, which I'd recommend to you. It's a structure I intend to use from this point on, or try to anyway. And he'll probably be an embarrassment to Thomas, but I do try and execute what he tells. Research logs and process and location importance, like location guides and stuff of that nature. That came from Diane Elder and Nicole Dyer in Research Like a Pro training. Not just the book, but the DVDs are the videos that go with it, the blogs that go with it, all the supplementary material that's in there. Zotero for genealogy, Diane Cox Baker. Obviously, I've showed you Zotero 3 times today. AI prompt writing is Steve Little, again, Thomas McKenty and Linda Morgan Clark. They all help me with the prompts. Linda's given me another set I need to look at. I'll probably be using in the next video. RootsMagic is Renee and Bruce. Renee's a jewel in being able to get me out of trouble when I'm in RootsMagic. Sue Tolbert has taught me RootsMagic. She does a SIG on RootsMagic. The genealogy process. She's always asking me questions that need to be answered and I haven't thought of. And she was the original person that taught me how to use Ancestry for research way back when she was librarian that she may even forget about doing. Denise Allen, Amy Johnson Crow, Joanna Klein, and Randy Seaver are all influencing if I'm writing a story about the family, which I haven't done on this one. They're the influencers there. They're the ones I listen to and read. Many others, someday I'll remember them and put them in here. As I do something, I'll do it. Please subscribe, give a thumbs up. Do respond to comments, but it takes a while. Please comment with additional topics. This was an additional topic that was asked for. And thank you for your time. I really do appreciate it. All righty. Let's see if I can take and get everything to operation here. You all have a great day.